So you must be Lona. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
My name is Paige, and I'll be seeing you over the course of the next month or so.
Oh, I thought I just had to come once.
From my understanding, you've been court ordered for the anger management classes and counseling.
They just told me at court I had to come see you. They didn't tell me I had to come more than today.
Well, normally what happens is if something happens and you go before the judge and they ask you to receive anger management counseling, you come in for an assessment, and then I see you for
What's an assessment?
Well, did your lawyer not explain what you were coming to do today?
No, I didn't have a lawyer. I told him I didn't need one. I hadn't done anything wrong.
Okay, well, let's start from the beginning. Today, for our first session, primarily what we'll do is just kind of talk about why you're here, what I do, what you're hoping to get out of this, and just overall kind of assess what's going on and plan our future sessions. And in the case where someone's been court ordered, like you said you were, usually the judge will request a letter, kind of with my recommendations. And
yeah, I'll go back in 2 weeks. He said that you would write something, and I'm sure that you'll just write that there's nothing wrong, and then I don't have to go back to court anymore, right? You'll just say that I saw you like they told me to, and then that's all I have to do.
Well, it's not quite that easy. Like I said, today we'll kind of talk about what's been going on and what led you to court and try to identify the problem, and then
my husband was running his mouth. That's why we ended up in court.
Okay, but so that's what we'll work on. We'll talk more about the specific incident or incidents that led us here. And then from there, maybe we can schedule another appointment later this week if that's okay with you, and then one next week before you go to court, so that
so I'm going to take off work and be here a bunch of times to see you.
If you would like me to get an accurate assessment and be able to give the judge an accurate report, I will need you to see me for a couple times. And if
Can we do it at night?
Our office closes at 5 o'clock. So if you could come after work.
So you can write me a work excuse where they'll pay me to come?
I can write a work excuse.
So they'll pay me when I come to see you?
That's between you and your employer. I'm not sure how that works for you, but I can write you a note saying that you were here from, whether say 4 to 5 o'clock.
Well, we'll have to talk to my boss about that.
Okay. When the judge said that you were going to come see me, is that part of your terms of release or probation?
I've got to go back. I don't know anything about probation. That wasn't mentioned.
Okay. Well, so if there's any way possible, because if you would like me to give an accurate letter and assessment to the judge, I will have to see you more than just once.
Well, let's see what we can get done today.
Okay, that's fine with me. So to start with, let's just kind of start with the basics.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions before I start?
You gonna put everything I say into a letter before the judge?
No, that's not how this works. When working with the clients, unless that you say that you're going to hurt someone or hurt yourself, that you're a danger to someone, then anything said between us is confidential. What would go in the letter would be something like, I have met with Lona on several occasions, and she seemed to have issues, say for example, controlling her anger, but we worked on developing certain coping skills, and she has displayed that she's been utilizing those coping skills and working on calming
techniques. What kind of coping skills? What are you talking about, coping skills?
Well, that's something we'll talk about more in a minute. Coping skills are ways that we help calm our emotions and how we deal with things.
So you're going to bring my husband in here and you're going to teach him how to be nice?
If, after this session, and maybe once or twice we get into it, if you would like to bring him here, we could work with him, work with you all together to see if
because he's what makes me angry. It's the things he does that causes the problems.
So, if that's the case, I assume it was your husband that led to you going to court and the judge asking you to come see me?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about what happened?
I was washing his dirty dishes. Our dishwasher broke the other day. I asked him to fix it. He didn't see there was any problem with me just washing them by hand all the time. Hadn't even been home. Come home, 2 big sinkfuls of dirty dishes. Said he wasn't washing them. That was woman's work. I was washing dishes and he was standing in the kitchen running that mouth. I asked him to hush or do it himself. He kept on. I was washing this cup right here. He kept on, and I turned around and I told him to hush. He run that mouth one more time, and I told him I was going to hush him. And I did. I hit him right between the eyes and in the mouth with this big cup. He hushed.
Well, is your husband okay?
I don't know. I've not seen him since that day. Well, I saw him at court, but they wouldn't let me talk to him.
Okay, so is there an order of protection or a legal document saying that you're not allowed to contact him?
I don't need protected. I'm not scared of him.
I'm just saying that did he...
Judge told me we weren't allowed to talk to each other and be around each other.
Okay. Was that the first time an incident like that's occurred?
Him running his mouth?
That ended in a physical altercation between the two of you?
Where he hit me or I hit him?
Either one.
There's been 2 or 3 things happen. He come home one night drunk, broke my chair, fell on my kitchen table, kept running his mouth when I told him he needed to go somewhere else and stay. He wasn't staying there acting like that. He kept running his mouth, and I picked up a mag flashlight and busted his head wide open and knocked him out. He didn't run his mouth anymore that night.
Well, what was the results of that incident? I mean, as far as was he okay physically, and were there any legal
Oh, no, I had to call the neighbor. They took him to the hospital, and he had to have his head sewed up.
Okay, so has there been more incidents like that that's occurred? As far as, has this been a regular occurrence?
Anytime he drinks or doesn't like, if I ask him to fix something around the house or do something, he's always running his mouth, and he knows if he keeps pushing me, whether it be him taking his hands and pushing me or just running his mouth, that I won't let him do that, and I will hush him one way or another.
Okay, so why don't we start kind of at the beginning and kind of work our way up to what got us to how we're sitting here today. How long have you all been married?
22 years.
Okay, had y'all been dating for a while before you got married?
5 years.
5 years, okay, so you all have known each other a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of describe what your relationship was like when you first got married?
About the same as it is now. We get along good till he decides to run that mouth, and I won't listen to it, and I shut his mouth. It may be 6 months or a year before he does it again, but he forgets. He remembers after I shut it for him, and he acts right for a while.
Okay, so in the beginning, were you having the physical altercations, or would you say that started in more recent years?
No, I mean, it's been about the same the whole time we've dated and known each other. We love each other. I just won't listen to him run his mouth. Mm-hmm. He gets out with his buddies and comes home, and he's going to play Billy Badass, and he's going to tell me what to do, and that don't work.
Okay, so how's your relationships outside of that?
What do you mean?
Do you all go to dinner, go on vacations, or just like little outings?
We do vacations, we go out to eat, we go to friends' houses for cookouts, do big family things for Christmas. Like I said, we get along good. Except if he gets out with his buddies and comes home and he's going to tell me I will wash dishes. It's woman's work. Even though I've worked 40 hours in 3 days and he's worked 40 hours in 10 days.
So do y'all have any kids?
Yeah, we have adult children.
Okay. Were they ever around when y'all had these altercations?
No.
Okay.
He knows better than that. He won't pick a fight in front of the kids because then the kids can tell everybody it's not my fault. It's his.
Does he feel that it's his fault and not yours when these physical altercations occur?
Oh, he says it's both of us. He'll say he's as guilty as me, that he knows when to stop and he chooses not to. He just wants to make me mad.
Okay, so something that I can already see that we may want to work on is, just because you all may agree that it's a little of everyone's fault, we want to try to avoid the physical altercations. And that's something that...
Well, how am I supposed to make him shut his mouth?
Well, and that's something that when I write a letter to the judge after meeting a couple times that I may request to see if he would allow you all to have a couple group sessions with me.
So you mean after today he can't come back home? I thought I just had to come see you and then everything was okay.
I'm not exactly sure what the judge told you or what's written up legally. So that's something that you would need to contact the judge or the circuit clerk's office about.
They gave me some papers. I don't have them right here with me though.
Well, I would suggest that you read over those and see exactly what the terms are and kind of go from there. You should be
So if I bring them back to you, will you help me make sure I understand them all?
I can contact someone or give you some information if you'd like to contact a lawyer or someone who's just more familiar.
So when the judge asked me if I wanted an attorney, I should have took it?
That would have been my suggestion, just because I'm not really familiar with all that much legal jargon, and I don't really know, what's the best choices to make. So yeah, anytime, unless you have a law degree, I would suggest that you accept a lawyer.
Okay. I'll ask for one when I go back to court.
Okay. So did you serve any time in jail?
Oh, yeah. He went outside and he's crying and carrying on. And the neighbors came over and they called an ambulance. And the ambulance people got there. I told him he was fine. He just had a busted nose and a swollen lip. He'd be all right. We wasn't paying any big ambulance bill. So they got mad at me, even though he told them he didn't want to go to the hospital, and they said I was preventing him from getting medical treatment. So they called the police who come, and I told them the same thing. We didn't have health insurance. He just had a busted nose and a swollen lip. He'd be all right. He'd learned his lesson. And next thing I know, they told me I was going to jail for beating my husband up. Have you ever heard of such? My husband weighs 350 pounds and stands 6'5". But I beat him up.
So what I'm gathering from this is you feel like you did the right thing. Is that correct?
Well, he wasn't going to quit. He wasn't going to hush. And the only way to get him to was what I done.
Okay. Has he ever hit you, or did you feel that, you were physically threatened previously?
Not that time, but he's got all being a bully, I guess, and pushing my buttons, and he'll kind of walk you up against the wall without ever putting his hands on you. He just takes his body and runs that mouth and, wants to act like he's going to be Mr. Bad, and I show him he ain't going to hurt me. And that's when I'll just pick up whatever I can get a hold of and lay him out with it.
Okay, so to wrap up our session for today, if that's okay with you, I just kind of want to reflect on what we talked about. So stop me at any time or correct me if I have any misinformation. You were court ordered by a judge to come meet with me to talk kind of about the anger management stuff. And all of that resulted from an physical altercation with your husband that he upset you.
Well, it wasn't really physical. I didn't lay hands on him, or he didn't lay hands on me. I used this cup when I hit him.
But he was physically injured, correct?
Yeah, I busted his nose and his lip.
Okay, and you stated that similar incidents have occurred throughout the years, kind of constantly since you've been married. Okay, and that you all love each other and everything else is great, but a couple times a year, there's incidents that lead to these fights.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know about a couple times. Maybe once a year.
Okay, so are you available to come see me later this week, maybe on Thursday?
Can I call you after I go talk to my boss about this? Because I don't want to get in trouble and lose my job.
I understand. If there's any way possible, and I could see you on Thursday and Monday before you go back to court later that week, that's the best way for me to be able to...
If I talk to my boss and they say that that's fine, they'll give me time off work. But what if they tell me that they just want me to come into work an hour late?
You can come from 8 to 9 if you would like.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. Give me a call whenever you talk to your boss and get everything lined out.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.